yeah, I do remember you. Come to my studio. Let's see what we can do.
Wow.
And next thing, I'm working on The Voice Nigeria.
You gotta
As
be
an
kidding
intern.
me.
Literally, that I still have the emails to this day.
The owner of Sasani Studios gave you a chance.
She gave me a chance. She gave me a chance. And it was as easy as that. Put yourself out there, you know. And I did. I said, what do I have to lose? And that's how I started in the industry. And ever since then, it's been referral after referral.
I'm excited because very soon we're going heavy on the podcast. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 12 o'clock, we're going to start going live. Ever since the podcast started, we've never gone live. You guys always complain like, you pre-record episodes and you put them up. We want to be there live so we can comment while the episodes are actually playing. So the good news is that starting from this spring, from the first Monday of September, we will be going live on the Hustlers Corner. Monday episodes, but in Wednesday episodes and Friday episodes, we'll be going live. You'll get an opportunity. So basically, this is our meeting point. 12 o'clock, ngama Mondays, ngama Wednesdays, ngama Friday, slangana la. We can watch the episodes together. We can comment together. Basically, from now on, that will be the culture that we will be moving on with. I know we've never done it before. Other podcasts do it. You've been asking for it for quite some time. McG, as I was co-hosting with Saul last week and the Ghost Lady, when he invited me to come through. By the way, shout out to McG, and I appreciate it, my brother. And congratulations on the 1 million subscribers. We will be at Sunbet Arena this weekend celebrating the 1 million subscribers. And thank you for inviting us to be one of the podcasts that will be recording an episode there. But what I wanted to say is, you guys encouraged me. You said, but why don't you do live shows? Because that's what people love. The audience loves congregating on the same platform at a certain appointed time. And that's what you guys have done well as the podcast and chill. And I think because of the inspiration that I got from you last week and knowing that the audiences has been asking for that, we're going to start implementing it from the first Monday of September. So Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, we all meet at 12 o'clock to all watch the episodes simultaneously at the same time. So we can all comment, criticize, have your opinions there, whatever it is. It's coming soon. I'm hanging out with another young person who's killing it in the game. She's growing her brand, her profile so well. She's done extremely well for herself. She's got such an inspirational story. She's from Butterworth in the Eastern Cape, was born in a multicultural home to a Xhosa mother and Ugandan father. She's a passionate storyteller. I won't be doing much of the talking today. It will be her doing much of the talking. And she's currently working as a television and film creative producer right here, Mojosi. She's also a top 12 finalist for Miss SA 2023. She is passionate about finding solutions in the African continent, and her mindset is Africa-centric, seeing that she comes from an Ugandan father. That's quite exciting. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, Mrs. Melissa. Welcome to
What an intro,
Hustlers
bro.
Corner.
I was like, who are you talking about?
I'm talking about you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
I'm excited to finally have you here. I think the first thing I'd like to say, I'm very proud of everything you've achieved.
Thank you so much.
Well done.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
And another thing is, you are very beautiful, by the way. NAYIMULI. What is that Ugandan? Is that Xhosa?
It's a Ugandan surname.
Okay.
So Melissa NAYIMULI, I was named by my father. All of us actually were named by our father. So Melissa NAYIMULI is very Ugandan name, very Ugandan surname. And yeah, that's what I'm about.
Maybe let's start from the beginning.
Yeah.
Tell us your story. Where are you from? I mean, how was growing up in the Eastern Cape? And just, I'd like to know more about you.
Sure. So I was born in Butterworth, known as Equa.
Equa, yeah.
It's a very small town just near East London. So growing up, I would say I had a very normal childhood, so to speak. I was there until I was 12. And I think the only thing in my childhood is I knew that speaking to mother, status Xhosa. It was our home and our culture. However, when I spoke to my dad, it was English. So that was the big thing in our family. For us, that was also normal. We grew up like that. It's all we've known until we moved to the big city, which is Johannesburg. So I moved when I was about 12 years old. And that's where the differences and the jarring, really realizing that your family is different. That's when I really saw it. And I think it started from primary school because I was in a Afrikaans primary school called Moifondin Primary. And from there is when life kind of like changed for me and my siblings very much. You know, in a small time, you don't really notice differences. People don't really pick at it. However, when we arrived in Joburg, that's when I was really like, okay, this is not as simple, as comfortable as I used to be. We experienced quite a lot of bullying with my siblings, a lot of bullying based on our heritage. It's like, okay, cool, you're black, but your name is Melissa NAYIMULI. Most people assume before they meet me that I am biracial, but when you see me, it's like you're a black girl. You're a black girl. Why do you have such a foreign name? And then I speak closer. Then again, so many question marks. So I think growing up, I struggled a lot with my identity, a lot. Unfortunately, we do live in a country where there is xenophobia. And it's something that people are not comfortable speaking about. It's something I was not comfortable speaking about growing up because with the discrimination you face as a child, it plays a lot on your mental health. To a point whereby I denounced my Ugandan heritage as a form of
Oh,
protection.
shame.
So I had to do that, and I think it's a big shame that I'll carry for the rest of my life because in doing that, you kind of leave your father out in the cold. Because I could hide behind, oh, I've got a Xhosa background, therefore I'm going to speak Xhosa to reinforce that I'm South African. And it worked because the school, it was definitely less bullying based on that. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, she's kind of Xhosa, so we kind of accept her. But then you've left your father out in the cold and he faces the discrimination on his own. So for much of my life, it has been a struggle in terms of identity, trying to figure out where do you fit in, how do you fit in, what makes you South African, and how will you be accepted into this culture.
And then let's talk about your family. How
Yeah.
big is your family? Are you the only
Oh
girl?
no.
Ninga kicking.
So I've got four siblings by five. My parents were like, go big or go home. I've got go big or go home. So I've got two sisters and two brothers. Yeah.
So you're not the firstborn.
I'm the third born. I'm the
Oh,
middle child.
Oh, the middle
You know what they
child.
say?
What do
They're
they say
like,
about
"Oh,
middle children?
we are attention seekers. We are drama queens. And it doesn't help that I work in TV and I'm in Miss SA. So who knows? Maybe they're right. Yeah.
And maybe let's talk about school. I mean, where did you
Yeah.
study,
Yeah.
and what were your dreams? I mean, coming up during the high school years.
Yeah. So in high school, most of my family, and I speak most of my family in terms of my dad's side, they are very much into medicine. So everyone was a doctor or a lawyer. So we grew up with that of when you grow up, you need to be a doctor, you need to be a lawyer, an engineer. So I grew up with that mentality, even though I knew I was very much a creative from a very young age. And I tried to also deny that, to be like, okay, sharp, I'm going to be a lawyer or I'm going to be a journalist, but it was absolutely not who I was. And thank God for my parents because they are both very creative individuals. And they honestly supported me when I said, you know what, high school, I don't know if I want to do this whole law thing. I don't know if I want to do this whole doctor thing. Also, I'm not good at it. And my father said, you know what, I'm a creative. I'm a writer. He used to be an English teacher back in the day. And he said, look, I'm a writer. I can see you also enjoy writing. How about we explore a career in that? And I fought it. I was like, oh no, maybe not. Again, because of that mentality of you need to be a doctor, you need to be a lawyer. And the funny thing is, in matric, I passed very well, and and I was waiting for a response, sorry, from the varsities this January. Now I'm thinking, okay, surely I've got a bursary. I'm going to like Wits or something because that's where I'm supposed to be, and I'd applied for law, and I don't get a response. So now I'm confused. I'm thinking, guys, what did I do wrong? What's going on? What's happening? And random day, I'm in my dad's car. I opened the, what's it called? The cabin.
KB hole, yeah.
I opened the cabby hole, and what do I find? My application papers. My dad forgot to submit them. My
Oh.
father forgot to submit
So
them.
you didn't make it to Vets?
No, but it was a blessing in disguise.
Yeah?
Because in him forgetting to submit them, it allowed me to apply to AFTA, which is where I went. to
Yeah, the
study
film
television.
school,
Yeah.
yes.
So it was January, everyone had been accepted. Vits is like, I'm sorry you didn't apply early on time. What you gonna do? And by God's grace, I was like, I actually want to go to AFTA. So that forced me to get into the creative space. And I'll always be grateful for that tiny mistake, yeah.
And AFTA is a very good school. I mean, they're a very,
Yeah.
very, very big part of
Yeah.
the South African industry.
Absolutely.
Film, let me just say the entire South African entertainment industry. Because what a lot of creatives learn there is not only just film.
Yeah,
They learn
absolutely.
radio, they learn producing, they
Everything.
learn writing.
Everything.
What are some of the things that you learned there?
I literally did almost everything because I made sure that I had a taste of what it means to be an actor. If I could sing, I would have done that too.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I
yeah.
did directing, I did the technical side, but I couldn't stay away from my first love, which is writing, and that's really what I focused on. Because number one, jack of all trades, master of none. I truly believe in that. So I really was like, this is what I'm good at. Let me try build on it. And that's where my passion lies. And there's nothing better than waking up every day doing exactly
What
what
you
you love.
love, yeah.
Yeah, nothing trumps that. And I always say, people need to find their own genius. And my thing is growing up in a family where everyone is pressurizing you to be a doctor, not even your family, but society, saying you need to be this, or you need to be an intellectual, you need to be good at maths or physics. But sometimes your genius is I'm a creative. Maybe I sing, maybe I dance, maybe I write. That's what I'm good at. And you need to really go dig deep into that, because had I not done that, I think I would have led a very miserable life. Yeah.
I hear you. And what type of writing did you
Oh,
learn at after?
I am a big storyteller. So I did film, but I also did television writing.
Okay.
And I love drama. I like telling stories. I like researching, and anything that is going to evoke human emotion. That's really where I'm at. Where it's not only television shows in terms of game shows, which I have worked on as well. I did a stint on The Voice, but I really found that my passion is writing about real stories, about real people, in order to, it is a form of education and really reaching people's hearts to say, think about this, or see us in a different light. So I really love that. Yeah.
And when did you start going for auditions? Was it
Yeah.
through while you were still studying at ABDA? Did you already
Yeah.
join an agency or what happened?
No. So when I was in my third year, we had this thing where you had to kind of create a TV show.
Yeah.
And that was your final exam. I'm sure people who are at AFTA are familiar with that. So we were marked by industry professionals. For instance, you would come to AFTA and you would say, okay, I'm here to listen to your guys' pitches, and you are going to kind of like mark us, and you would determine our final mark. And one of the people there, I remember her name. She was Miss Eileen Asandrock, the owner of Sasani Studios. So she was marking my final exam. I was pitching. I was just doing my thing. And then afterwards, we really connected in that few couple of minutes. So I went up to her and I said, look, I'm in my third year. I don't really have a plan after this. Can I please have your details? And she said, okay, cool. Hit me up after you're done with this and let's talk. And at first I thought, it's a joke. You know how people always say, yeah, call me, here's the number.
They call it industry talk.
Industry talk. So I was
Yeah.
like, maybe not. And I graduate, there is no plan. And now your parents are looking at you like, you said you wanted to do this. You said we must trust you. And I'm thinking, oh man, I need to make it happen.
Yeah.
So I went to my contacts and I said, you know what, let me send her an email. Literally, that's how it started. I sent her an email saying, look, I've just graduated. This is who I am. We met briefly when you were marking my exam. Can you please give me a chance? So literally, I just had to ask. And she emailed back, luckily, and she was like, yeah, I do remember you. Come to my studio. Let's see what we can do.
Wow.
And next thing, I'm working on The Voice Nigeria.
You gotta
As an
be kidding
intern.
me.
Literally, that I still have the emails to this day.
The owner of Sasani Studios gave you a chance.
She gave me a chance. And it was as easy as that. Put yourself out there, And I did. I said, what do I have to lose? And that's how I started in the industry. And ever since then, it's been referral after referral. And
Let's
that's
talk
how it
about your
was.
experience at
Yeah.
Sasani Studios, or how did you get the voice also?
Yeah. So she put me in touch with one of the. Sure, I've worked with Debbie Schulman. So she's a big producer. She's been in the industry for years.
I know Debbie. Yeah.
You know Debbie?
She's dope,
Love
yeah.
her, love her. Crazy, but I love her. She produced The Voice Nigeria at the time. So Eileen sent an email saying, hey, I've got this girl. Do you want to meet her? So I went to meet her, one interview. I'm like, hey, Debbie, no experience, nothing at all. I rocked up there with heels thinking it's a formal job interview. I didn't
Yeah.
understand TV at that time. So I was in a dress and heels and I said, look, can I have a shot? And she looked at me. She's like, okay, but you'll have to change those shoes. I'm like, okay, cool. She said, come back to work on Monday. And I'm thinking, what do you mean? What work? What am I doing? She said, you're going to be an intern. No job description. She said, rock up and we'll discuss it on Monday. And that's exactly what I did. I packed my bags. I was like, Mom, I'm going to work. She said, what are you doing? Can't even explain it. And I got there and I was a production intern and I started off as a house mother. So I was thrown into a hotel with 100 contestants.
What is a house mother?
A house mother, basically, in a TV show like that, you are in a music show where you have to look after contestants, right? And this time I thought maybe it's like 5 people or 10 people, but no, it was 100 contestants from Nigeria.
100?
100 people from Nigeria.
And you
auditioning.
know my Naja brothers and sisters.
You know what I mean? It was hectic. So I was literally in the trenches. They said, okay, you have to live in a hotel for a month. You look after them. Anything they need, it is up to you. Their schedules, making sure they arrive on studio in time. That is your main job. So I think at the time I was 21 years old and I was just like, guys, I don't even think I'm equipped to do this. And that's how I started in the industry, where I had to look after 100 contestants were in a music TV show. So you can imagine the emotions also that are involved in that. And that was my job. And then from there, I got promoted to production manager and eventually left the company. And this is where I am now.
Now, moving from, or maybe let's start there.
Yeah.
What are some of the intricate things that you'd say you've learned through
Yeah.
that production? Because that's a big production. 100 people is a lot of people.
Honestly, for me, there is no ego. You do what needs to be done. I think when you work in a space where there is teamwork, especially with television, there's no chance for you to say, that's not my job. I don't do that. Because, time is money. You need to keep on running. And that was the biggest thing I learned, hard work. To say that I can't have an ego to say, I don't do that. Oh, I don't get to do that. Where I saw producers themselves literally do a job that I was supposed to do. And really, it was such a humbling experience to say, you know what, guys, as a team, you need to get the job done. There's no time to be precious or to say, oh, that's too big for me or that's too small for me. I don't belong here. That was the biggest thing I took away from that. And I implement that with every job I've had moving forward to say, you know what, if we've got a common goal and a common vision, do the work, get in there, work hard, because literally this is not about ego or status.
And I
Yeah.
totally agree. Even in any company, not only in the
Yeah.
entertainment industry, guys, like once you're given an opportunity to do everything. When we're doing friends like these, I learned how the runners were doing their job.
Yes.
The vision controller guys, the producers,
Yeah.
the guys who would organize the guests. And basically, not wrong, I wasn't only a presenter there,
Yeah.
but I was everything.
You went behind the scenes.
Behind it, I involved myself.
And that
it
is
was
so
willingly.
empowering.
You
Yeah.
know? It wasn't like, no, Mina must sit in the green
I don't wanna
room.
do this.
I
I'm in
must
the
be brought
office.
coffee. I'm the presenter. No.
I'm in the office.
I
Sorry.
immersed myself
Yeah.
into that world,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure those are some of the things that made you become the person that you are becoming. Every opportunity you get, you
You
immerse
just do it.
yourself, right? And you learn.
Yeah. And you think people are not watching, but people are always
People are always watching.
always watching. You get an attitude on set or whatever. Someone is always watching. And it's such a small industry and people don't get that. It's so small because like I said, every job I've gotten has been a referral where they do call my old boss to say, have you worked with this person? What do you think about them? And if you get a bad rep, honestly, that's it. That's it. It's a tiny industry. So your reputation is everything.
Yeah.
And I truly believe in that of do the work, keep your head down, and you will get rewarded in the end. Yeah.
And being in front of the camera,
Ish. You know what? That is something else. That's tricky. But it's funny
Why?
now. No, that's not easy, guys.
I think it's easier for people, who are pretty like you
No,
guys.
no,
Like when you're pretty,
no
people
way.
focus on the beauty more.
No
But obviously
way.
you have to have substance. But I think at least that
You
sort of,
have to have
it helps, right?
I love being behind the scenes. I loved it so much. So when I did Miss South Africa, this is my 4th time back actually, but now we're on a reality show. That was something else. I was like, oh my God, I have to be on camera and actually speak and actually watch myself after. It's difficult. I respect so much people are in front of the camera, actors, presenters. It's a hard job.
Yeah.
Remembering lines is a hard job.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man. But I'm not necessarily 100% comfortable in the space yet,
Yeah.
but I'm working on it.
You're still growing, right?
I'm still growing. I'm trying to get there.
And
Yeah.
where would you like to get to in the
Um,
industry?
To be honest with you, I'm still a big producer at heart.
Okay.
I really, really want to work into the producing space. Right now, I'm a creative producer. Absolutely love my job. And the next year, people would say, okay, be a director, but that's not what I want to do. That's not what I want to be. I really want to tell stories, produce stuff, and share that with the world.
I'm sure you already have a lot of stories you'd like to share with the world. Even from where you're coming from, Eastern Cape.
Yeah, I've got a lot of stories. And like I said in the beginning, my stories really need to reflect the society we live in today. Chimamanda actually says it. She says, if you keep showing people as one thing, that is what they become. I love our industry. However, I felt like whatever story that is being told about Africa, told about Black people, told about society is always very one-sided. And it perpetuates a narrative of how we are viewed, not by only by ourselves, but also the world. For instance, if you think of Africa, and you watch any show, any international show, it's always we are poor, we're struggling, we need charity. That is what you see about Africa. But people don't see the vibrant side of it, the entrepreneurs. I mean, congratulations to you. We saw more fire as well.
Oh, thank you.
Start,
Thank you,
you know?
Siyabonga.
So you don't see
Oh,
that.
by the
side
way,
of it.
that's why she's here, guys.
Yeah.
We'll also be hosting a whole lot of other
Yeah.
Miss SA 2023 contestants.
Yeah.
They are coming here because Mofa is also a part of the entire
The
experience, and it's
sponsorships,
amazing.
guys, yeah. So, there's also that side where we really don't talk about it. And how we are viewed by the world and approached by the world is based on what's out there on television. And I think that's such an important thing of our stories need to be told in full. It can't always be one-sided. And we have the power to control that as well, Yeah.
I like the fact that you know who you are,
Yeah.
you know what you want, you know what you're passionate about, and you're going for it.
Yeah.
Because it's always important to focus on your strengths, right? But it's also very important for you to be comfortable in your own skin, because this entertainment industry can
Yeah.
really alter the type of person
Yeah.
that you are. I think you've been blessed apart from AVDA. I think learning under people like Eileen,
Yes.
I think that is
Yeah.
totally incredible because those are already your
They're the veterans,
mentors.
right?
They're
They
already
are my mentors.
unofficial
Yeah.
mentors,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And you can go in there with an attitude or you can go there with an attitude of humility to want to learn,
want to learn.
from that space.
You
Now, what
want
I
to
would like
learn.
to know from you now
Yeah.
is how is the Miss SA experience? Because you also hear a lot of other sisters over the years
Yeah.
who talk about some of the treatment that happens within the competition from other girls. And we've just been reading some articles, I think recently, a few weeks ago, about bullying, etc. I want to hear about your experience.
Yeah. So like I said, I was this is my second time I make it to the finals of Miss South Africa. I'm in the top 12 now. Last in 2020 I made it to the top 5. And both experiences for me have been very different. And I had a conversation earlier where people say, why do you do pageantry? Isn't it just girls modeling in swimsuits and that's all it's about? And what I can say about Miss South Africa, it has changed. And what changed for me is when Zozibini Tunzi won, where I saw a beautiful woman, but that's not what I paid attention to. I paid attention to what she had to say, what her vision was for our country, and that's what spoke louder more than even her voice, more than her beauty. And that is what Miss SA is about and what it has become, where you've got 12 women. Yes, cool, you can say, okay, cool, they're pretty, and that's all you can focus on. However, if you give us a chance to listen to what we have to say, what are our advocacies, what is our plan, why are we on this platform, then you'll really get to understand what it is about, where you can be beautiful, but it's not enough anymore. The country's also up there listening. It's not enough for you to just be pretty and to show up, but rather, what do you have to give to this platform? Who are you? Why should we care much about you? It is a huge platform where you are offered a space to speak. You've got a voice. What do you have to say? And I think that's the most important part, and that's what drew me to this pageant, and I call it an empowerment platform rather, because that's what it has become, whereby even the gossip of, oh, the girls probably hate each other, there's bullying, there's that. I personally have not experienced all of that, where I've been in a space where it's women, we are sisters, we all have different things we want to do, and we're supporting each other in that sense. And it's a difficult competition, physically, mentally, and more especially
Is it difficult?
emotionally. Absolutely.
But you guys look like you're just having a time of your lives.
It's absolutely difficult.
Challenging, ne?
Yeah, it's very difficult. Very much on an emotional and mental level, because I think people think just because you stand up for something, you're fighting for it, it means you're in a very centered and stable space. But you are still human. And I always remind people that at the end of the day, I am a 27-year-old woman. I'm a 27-year-old black woman. I'm talking about something, but I bleed just like you do. I hurt just as you do. Whatever you say on Twitter, it will hurt. So we're not statues or models or dolls who are just there to look pretty. We've got something to say. There's always pushback in whatever we stand up for. And that's what Miss SA is, where you literally have to be bold enough to stand on a stage and a platform and say, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I would like to advocate for. And, be ready to receive everything that comes with it. Yeah.
Congratulations for making it as one of the finalists in the
Yeah.
previous competition last year. Were you disappointed that you didn't make it?
In 2020, absolutely. I think
Sorry,
that-
2020.
In
Yeah.
2020, absolutely. I think it's a very human emotion to feel disappointment, because you're going after a dream, isn't it? Like when you apply for any type of job, the ultimate goal is to get the job. So when you don't, you are going to feel disappointment. And I believe if you don't feel disappointment, it was not important enough to you. It was just something I was doing for fun. So I was very much disappointed. But I'm back now because I'm very stubborn. I've got a very stubborn heart.
Yeah.
And I really do believe that my message does deserve a platform to be heard. And when you remove yourself also from that point of, this is me who failed, it helps you kind of like change your perspective, because now if you came in with an advocacy, with a vision and with a goal, just because you don't make it one time doesn't mean you have to give up and stop talking about it. You can always come back and try. And for me, I appreciate this journey more because I'm sitting over here and I
Yeah.
get a chance to really speak about things that matter, where it's not just about the crown anymore, but what are you doing with the crown before you get it and after you get it. I think that's the most important thing and what sets people apart. Yeah.
And I think you didn't fail. It was an
Yeah.
experience.
It was an experience.
Made you a better person,
A learning
right?
experience. And I needed it.
Because on that year, who won?
Ashton Fatomusida.
Oh,
Yeah.
my sister, we're doing
Shudu won,
a Bar One campaign together.
Yeah.
Shout out to you, very proud
Shout
of
out to Shudu.
you. Incredible, yeah.
One of my greatest friends.
And how did
from
you
the
feel
pageant.
about her reign?
Absolutely inspired by her to this day. I think Shudu is one person who has really made sure she got the crown and she did exactly what she said she would do with it, where she's inspired so many people, spreading the word about mental health, which is such a big thing. And she has never shied away from it, so I really appreciate her reign and also how she's making moves in the business world. She just launched a swimwear line.
Yeah, and
she was a sponsor
congratulations
from South
to her for
Africa.
that, yeah.
So that's really just been amazing. Yeah.
What is it that you learned from 2020
Yeah.
that you are putting into action now on the current competition?
I said in my entry this year, because we have to release entry videos online, that passion without a plan of action is not enough. And I think in 2020, I was very passionate about the struggles I went through with xenophobia, the struggles that my family has gone through. And I think I approached the competition from a place of emotion in terms of I had not personally healed. And I think I was trying to make Miss South Africa heal me. I needed validation from not only the organization, but from people as well to say, hey, can you take note of me? Can you guys fix me? Can you heal me? Can you accept me in this point? And that was what the journey was about. And I get emotional talking about it because it was not easy and it still isn't. So I took the time in these 3 years to say, okay, Melissa, let's face the facts. Let's really deal with this. What is going on? What do you want? And also, should you come back, what are you going to do about it? Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Yeah, continue.
So this year coming in, I was like, okay, we are very much aware of the struggles we're facing. But then what are the possible solutions? What do you want to add in terms of value in a space such as this, especially about such a sensitive topic? You can look at it from both sides, but what do you want to do about it? Because it's not enough to hold up a paper and say, these are the problems and to list them out, but what are you going to do about it? Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Shame, sorry.
What I wanted to ask also
Let me breathe quickly, sorry.
No, yeah, take your time. You can
wanna,
even have some water.
Yeah. Okay.
And by the way, guys, More Fire Energy Drink is the official drink partner for Miss SA 2023.
Yep.
Congratulations to all the ladies and the sisters, the organizers. One of the things that I've noticed with this year's competition is that you guys didn't only partner with More Fire, you partnered with BNG. Shout out to my sister Bonang. And a whole lot of other local brands. Tell me more about that and what is that teaching the contestants?
The biggest thing that I at least am taking away from is the spirit of entrepreneurship. And no dream is ever too impossible to achieve. I mean, we've watched you push this brand and push More Fire. We've watched Bonang also. And this is a black person doing it, where things were seemed and deemed impossible. You guys have shown us that it can be achieved, but also the biggest one is resilience. I think people, you think you wake up and you arrive at a place and it's given to you. And one thing I've learned, nothing is ever given. You need to fight for your dreams. You need to work hard for it. And resilience is everything. Because, everyone experiences challenges and they will come to you. But the way you've carried on and the way you're just like, I believe in this vision, I believe in a dream, and I want to make sure it comes into fruition. And the vision is bigger than just, I'm getting a check at the end of this. But every brand that you guys have produced, it's got a vision and a legacy in mind to say, what is it communicating? What is it going to add to our community? And I absolutely love that. So for me, long-lasting brands and more than anything, resilience.
I like that. And on this past weekend, you guys had a challenge. And maybe tell them the challenge. Let me not tell them.
Oh man!
Because it just happened this past weekend.
It did. Just now. So we had to create and design a new flavor and can for More Fire. Guys, I loved my bottle. Okay, I worked with priority. I do not care what the judges say. I loved it and I was so proud of it. And I think one thing that stood out when you guys were presenting to us was your vision and how it all came about. Where it's not just yellow. It's not just a band. It's not just, everything was so well thought out. And I think when we were designing our can, we wanted to approach it with the same energy to say, okay, this brand is clearly special to you guys. It means something. So we wanted to create something as well that meant something, but also was a big representation of who we are. And I absolutely loved it. Guys, please check it out. It's on my Instagram, okay? By now, I'm sure I've posted it and you'll get the full explanation. But, oh man, it was fantastic. And I really appreciated that. Yeah.
But let me give you the great news. Do you know that we have decided in the office as the More Fire team that we are going to release...
You're joking.
The can design that wins from the show,
we're
actually going to release it to the market.
You're joking.
I'm telling you. Yeah.
That is amazing.
Just like we've just released a new Robot Boy flavor.
No
We're going to release the Miss SA flavor into the market.
Oh man, now I wish I'd won that challenge.
But you did a great job. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Did you see my bottle?
I saw all of your bottles.
Okay.
Because I don't want you guys to think I've got a favorite. Like you're all, I'm a favorite for all of y'all.
Oh, that's amazing.
And I love all of y'all.
But can I tell you, we suspected that you guys would do that. We're like,
are you serious?
No way we're designing just for fun. We're like, it means something. And
I think
every girl really put their heart into it. So I'm so happy for the ladies who won. Nanda and Natasha. That's who won actually.
Yeah.
Your bottle's gonna be out there, girls. That's amazing.
Congratulations to Nanda and Natasha. That was a great experience. I mean, also I love Black Brick Hotel.
Yes.
Where we're shooting. And shout out to my brother Jay Something, who's got a restaurant there, Artistry.
Oh really?
Yeah, he's got a restaurant. Actually, where we were, when we
Yeah.
were shooting, if you go upstairs, I think, yeah, the rooftop upstairs, that's where the artistry
Yeah.
restaurant is, and it's in Santon.
Oh
Actually, that's
wow.
where I'll also be shooting the Hustlers Corner Global.
Oh
We've
wow.
got a partnership with the Revolt Podcast Network, so that's where we'll be doing my podcast in. But it was just
Mm.
great to see you guys in your element. It was
Yeah.
great to see you guys' energy. It was
Yeah.
great to see, obviously, our brand being worn by you guys. You guys were rocking the
Oh
Mofa
man,
t-shirts.
we did,
That
and
was
we
incredible.
got the jumpsuits, by the way. We
Oh,
also
did you
got
get
that.
the
So we are so
jumpsuits?
excited.
Oh,
Every
that's
girl
dope.
was freaking out. We're like, yeah,
That's
done.
dope. That's
Yeah,
dope.
we got
It's
those.
it's a souvenir,
Yeah, it's
something to
beautiful, and
walk
also it's
away
got our
with.
names on it. So that's
Yeah,
so special. Yeah,
yeah.
that was so special.
I'm glad they did put your names, because in the
Yeah.
beginning I was like, yeah, yeah, but
No, please, it's a souvenir for life.
no,
Yeah,
siyabonga.
for life.
I'm proud of how well articulate you are, and the and I know we spoke about education earlier,
Yeah.
but where does that come from? Because
Yeah.
you speak very well.
Yeah, yeah. So my father was an English teacher. So for us, it's one of those things where if your father is a teacher or your parent is the teacher in the house, you know that education is a very important thing. You cannot fail. You can't be acting all shady and sideways. So my parents were very strict
Yeah.
about that. Where reports would come, they'll check your marks, everything. Are we good? Are you still okay? Why are you failing the subject? What's going on? So my parents were very invested in our education. All of us actually, to a point where my sister's a doctor. My brother is in IT, but he wanted to be a pilot, but because of finances, he couldn't finish.
Yeah.
I'm the sideways one who went to, entertainment.
Yeah.
And then I've got two younger siblings. One is studying law, and the other one is still in high school. And we still now I see it in myself now that I'm older that education is so important to me. Where I go to my younger siblings, and I'm the parent to be like, "Are we still good? Are you guys studying? Are you okay?" So yeah, that's where it really comes from.
No, your parents did a great job. I'm very, very proud of you.
Thank you.
And let's talk about some of the issues that you've had to go through, xenophobic issues that you've
Yeah.
had to go through,
Yeah.
some of the difficulties you've had to
Yeah.
experience as a younger sister.
Absolutely, sure. So I think it was about I moved to Joburg when I was 12 years old, right? And from there, not only did I experience xenophobia, but as a child, I had to watch my father be discriminated against and being treated like a child. So you can imagine what that does to your psyche, where this is a grown man and he's being spoken down to, he's being disrespected just because of the way he looks or his accent. So it did quite a number on me because I started, questioning quite a lot of things. This is my hero, but here he is being reduced to, someone so small by people much younger than him. And that was very tough because now you're in a space where you don't accept your identity. You're thinking this is wrong. You're thinking that who you are is wrong. You look around, you're like, but we're both black. We are both black, but now what is the difference? Or why is there so much hate towards, my family and how we represent and how we are? So it does really play a lot in terms of identity and accepting yourself, which is why when I speak about in those years, I really did denounce my Ugandan heritage because I can speak as a Xhosa. I would show up in classrooms with friends speaking as a Xhosa, try and reinforce that I am South African. And I would literally deny, oh yeah, why is your name Melissa NAYIMULI? Oh, my parents just chose to name me that, where it was never a full explanation of who you are or what you're about. And I'd have friends, especially in high school, who were from Nigeria. And because they were getting bullied, it's like, okay, now let's separate from them because you want to be classified as one of them, right? So there was a whole lot of that, and it was so difficult. I don't think it's very hard to explain, especially to black people, what that feels like. And the only way you can talk about it is think about racism, where it was black against white, based on the color of your skin. However, now it's black against black, something you can't physically see in terms of a difference, but we feel it. You feel it. And I think the biggest misconception, which is something I've struggled with now, is with my advocacy entering South Africa to say I'm speaking about for a united Africa. People always take it as I am being a rape apologist, a crime apologist, saying that illegal foreigners are allowed to come into our country, that criminals are allowed in the country, and that's not what it's about. It's literally saying, guys, we need to restore and retain human dignity. We are black. We need to unite as each other. The world is getting smaller. We need each other more than anything, and we've got so many resources within Africa. We've got quite a rich continent, but we do not trade with each other. We do not work together. Why is that? Systems have been put in place in order to divide us, and it's literally up to us to come together and to say, guys, you know what? You're black, I'm black. There's no reason for us to hate each other. Yes, crime and everything exists, and I do not for one second take that for granted. I absolutely have experienced it myself personally. I do not think it's right that we are around criminals, but in any society, and it's such an important thing to call people out by their name. It's not right that the headline says foreigners did 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a criminal. Point blank period. It is a criminal who did this, who did that act. But once you start saying the headline says foreigners does this, you're classifying every foreigner, whether they're here legally or illegally, as if they are part of the problem. And that's where the problem begins, where you don't call people out by their name, you do not hold people accountable for their actions. But now we're all classified under one umbrella, which is very dangerous to do because innocent people get hurt. Just in 2008, an innocent man was burnt to death in our own country, based on that idea of all foreigners do this. If you're South African, you also wouldn't want to be spoken to like that, to say all foreigners all South Africans are xenophobic, all South Africans are stupid, all South Africans are this. That is not how you speak to people, because you need to find and speak to the humanity in the person and hold each person accountable for their own actions. Yeah.
Your melanin is popping.
Yeah.
Let's talk about colorism.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Also big journey. So now I'm a black woman, I'm foreign, and I'm dark skinned. That's another conversation. But I think the older I got, the more I realized my melanin is beautiful. It is powerful, and I do celebrate it, just like I celebrate my heritage. Colorism is a big thing, but not only in South Africa, globally, where if you're dim, just a shade lighter, you're better off. If you're darker, something's wrong with you. But I think the world is changing and things are evolving, which is beautiful now, where we celebrate ourselves. And I love that, where we've taken our own power back to say, yes, I'm dark skinned and I'm beautiful and I live and I thrive in it. So I absolutely love that. Yeah.
Did it affect you more when you were younger?
Absolutely. When you're young, you're black, you're skinny. You know what they say. Oh, and also those jokes within the family. Like, oh, yeah. No. And I looked a bit sketchy, but it's all right.
It's okay,
I said myself. But yeah, it absolutely does. And I think it's still something that's ongoing now for women. It's still definitely such a struggle. But I think I love the direction we're moving towards now, whereby we are black women in spaces like this. And I'm owning everything in me. I'm not trying to go a lighter shade. This is who I am and I'm proud of it. Also, I don't want to change it. And it's more important now to be like, except for the physical appearance, what do you have to offer the world? And that's really what I'm hungry for when I approach anybody, to say, I see who you are, I respect you, but what do you have to say? What are you doing? What is this about?
Do you drink?
Yeah, I do.
And do you smoke?
I don't smoke.
Or you don't smoke?
No, but I drink, yes.
Maybe let me ask about smoking. Why don't you smoke?
For me, biggest thing is health reasons and also just my preference. I'm not a big smoker, but I enjoy a glass of wine. Other people would argue the same thing. Melissa, alcohol is dangerous, but anything, if you overindulge, then yes, it is dangerous.
Yeah, I agree.
But for me, I do enjoy a glass of wine every now and then.
Why am I bringing about smoking is because there's this brand new tobacco bill that it's like all the time when they're passing these laws or these bills, they're like, the masses of our people don't know about these bills when they get pushed into law.
Yeah.
And it's difficult to reverse them once they've been put into law, they've been signed into law, right? So this brand new tobacco bill seeks to arrest people when they're smoking in public. Say you're smoking in your house, outside of your townhouse, in your balcony, your neighbor can literally just call the cops with some evidence. They can maybe even film a video of you and even show the cops, and they can arrest you. Yeah.
Even if you're in the privacy of your own home?
Yep. Outside of your house, yeah.
Sure.
Obviously in your house, nobody's going to see you. But like, even in your charity, they can.
But that's my private space. And I think that brings to the question of, we can't decide which human rights to uphold, right? If I'm in the privacy of my own home, I'm comfortable. It's my space. But now I could get arrested?
You can get arrested, not only smoking, but even no mama wako, no koko wako, apemi sniff.
No way.
I'm telling you, she could be sitting in that queue waiting to get her monthly grant and smoking sniffs. She can get arrested.
What is the sentence looking like for such a
sentences range from 3 months to 5 years. 5 years?
What justifies
for
5
smoking
years?
a sniff, guys?
So I could be walking down the street smoking.
Yeah.
If I were a smoker, I'd get arrested.
And for
then
me,
what is the thought behind this? I'm trying to understand why is such a bill being passed.
On Monday, we did an episode with this is Mandy Samashekho, and she's very intelligent, very educational, and a lot of the things that she would share. And she shared a very interesting, her contribution was, all these bills come with a briefcase or come with a paperback or an envelope. So they can get pushed in and they pay certain politicians to pass them into law. Sure. But then obviously that money comes from people with an agenda why they're pushing this bill. And oftentimes whatever bills they're pushing, these people who pay politicians to pass them onto law or encourage them or vote for them to end up passing these bills into law, they've got their own agenda of most of the times it's about money.
Corruption is a big issue in our country.
Somehow, do you know what I mean?
Corruption is a big issue. And that is very scary because now it's like anything can be passed. and we don't know about it, and we find out, just after the fact. And now it's too late to react or do anything.
I
So
took-
thank you for sharing this information
And then
because I didn't know.
let me share another one.
Yeah.
Let me share another one, Melissa. Young people, I promote entrepreneurship. I've got a lot of young people who would approach me and they speak to me about some of the business they're doing. A lot of them
Yeah.
they're not smokers, but they
Yeah.
would start a hubbly business where they're busy every weekend. They go to clubs and they
Yeah.
get clubs to give them an opportunity to be in their spaces, and they hire out their hubbly stuff.
Okay.
And that's how they make their money. Some of them will tell you that they would make like anything between 4 to 5, 6, 7 grand per weekend,
Yeah.
just out of hiring out their hubbly. If you are found smoking a hubbly in a club in public, you will get arrested.
When is this being passed?
They're busy with it now in Parliament.
And how do you know about it?
It's because I was on the podcast and chill
Yeah.
podcast last week, and they spoke about it. I was like, no, this can't be true. So I went to go do my own research, and it's actually true.
Oh, wow.
And what I would like to say, we have to participate in stopping the bill. If you're interested in stopping the bill, go to www.stopthebill.coza. That's stopthebill.coza, or you can use the hashtag Stop the Tobacco Bill.
Yeah.
So the hashtag is Stop the Tobacco Bill, and the website is stopthebill.co.za. You can have your comments there, so you can contribute in stopping this bill so it doesn't get passed
Yeah.
into law. And another thing that they also mentioned is including vaping.
Yeah.
Might not be a
I'm really
smoker,
familiar with vaping, yeah.
but even just vaping, Jay,
Yeah.
you know, the electronic cigarettes
Yes. So
can get arrested.
Sure. Sure.
I
No,
thought
I'm
I should
scared.
just share it.
It's, can I ask you something actually?
Yeah.
From just the conversations we've been having now, what was your experience growing up in your community when it came to foreigners and how you approached them or how you saw them?
I think, Tina, when we were younger, I grew up in the 80s, 90s
Yeah.
in South Africa. I'm not even talking about foreigners, just ourselves as South Africans. There was a lot of discrimination amongst, that's why I was talking about you as a younger person
Yeah.
with your melanin popping like this.
Yeah.
The more darker skinned you are, the more we would tease each other, or the more we would tease you as other kids. It started in primary school, including high school. We threw around words like Ishangan.
Yes.
You know,
there's
you
a lot
would-
of tribalism as well.
Yeah, a
There's
lot of tribalism
as well.
You know,
Yeah.
and that was done intentionally to us. And now we are unlearning a lot of these things. And as we are relearning new things, some people don't understand where other people would be coming from, especially people like yourself
Yeah.
who are advocating for a one Africa. Because
Yeah.
ultimately we are one Africa. We've
No, we
been
absolutely
a
are.
one Africa for many, many years, hundreds of years. It's just that Berlin conference where they discussed in Europe what they were going to do to us,
Yeah.
and how they were going to divide Africa
Yeah.
amongst themselves.
We
And
didn't
that
make
wa-
the decision ourselves.
We didn't.
But
It
now
was
we pay
imposed
for the
on
cost.
us.
It was imposed on us.
And
we
we are
paying
the
for
ones
them.
that are
Yeah.
continuously keeping that alive. Now, so as to say, even 15, 20, 25 years ago, as I was growing up, it's
Yeah.
Mbisa. There was that. I was experiencing that on a daily basis, where umuntu bekaboniwa sengathi umnyama kakhulu,
Yep.
uyishangane.
Yep. Yep.
Uyinyasa, uyitsonga, and you know that tribalism was very rife.
Yes.
It was very bad,
Yeah.
and it messed a lot of us up. It took a lot of us to sort of grow up and understand
It's
things
unlearning.
differently.
Yeah.
Unlearning,
It's unlearning.
exactly.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to foreigners, it was even more worse. Because people will be like, yeah, like us,
And a word which is thrown away so easy, kwere kwere. People don't get that's a derogatory term. That's a
Very derogatory.
term, but we use it. My mom says when she went to her own family to tell them that she wants to marry my dad. People were very terrified. They were saying, "Oh no, but don't these people eat human beings?" And I'm like, she said that was a real concern. When
guys.
communities, they were like, "Girl, what are you doing? He's going to eat you alive." So the understanding of that, we laugh about it now, but that was it's a real issue. Even now, the way we are addressed and the way we are seen is so different, and it's all that unlearning of how we are perceived is not necessarily how foreigners are. And again, that whole thing of grouping people together is also very much unfair. I understand crime is there, and absolutely as a South African, and especially as a South African woman, there's no way I can condone that. So in my message, it's never about that to say, let people come in illegally. That's not right. No country would allow that in any case, But we do also need to speak to the fact that we do have a problem. We do need to speak up for it. And the biggest thing is, I also can't be in a position where I say all South Africans are doing this, because they're not. My mother is a South African woman. I've experienced the love and the warmth of South African, and it exists. It's there. Not everyone thinks in the same way. However, I found that when there's a negative conversation, the negative voices grow louder, and that's what we hear. But they're such beautiful, positive people, and who are literally willing to listen, willing to learn, and saying that I will also help you in making this change within my small community of unlearning the words I used. One of my friends from South Africa, I won't mention her name now. She said, Melissa, I'm so sorry because at home I use the word gwere gwere. I talk about it, but it's not, I don't think about it. I don't think that it's hurting someone else because we grew up like that. So it's unlearning. It's unlearning and also being understanding. And I think I'm in a fortunate position where I was both a victim but also the perpetrator, because in me denouncing my father, I was like, I'm taking a step back, so I'm going to protect myself. And being put in that position, it makes you see both sides of the story, both sides of the coin, where even now it's solution driven. It's not to say, hey, let's bash anybody, but rather, guys, what can we do? How do we work together? How do we create this united Africa? Because there's so much potential within the continent itself, honestly, and that is untapped. And we are such warm and beautiful people. Why are we not working together? Why are we not learning from each other? When I speak on unity, it's in threefold. It's educational, it's social, it's economical. There's so many borders that we can break, the literal, and the figurative ones, where we literally can break by just speaking to each other, learning from each other. If you see someone is doing something, how did you do that? I'm very curious about how do you build businesses? What is your education looking like? And educationally as well, in high school, I particularly did not learn about Africa. Would always be taught about Europe and America and things like that. But I'm like, I don't even know what's happening in my own continent. I don't know what happened. What is the history of it? And when I speak to my father in Uganda, he was taught about Africa throughout. He learned more about South Africa than his own country. So I'm like, that exposure as well to our continent, what do we have to offer? That's lacking. And we need to speak on that, because I can't contribute to a sustainable and economically driven continent if I don't even know what I'm working with. We need to literally be so aware of what is around us.
I always encourage people as well, but stop it mama pene plus. I know we always have this thing, traveling is expensive, but whatever you can afford, sometimes instead of buying expensive clothes, rather travel.
Yeah.
Because it exposes you to a different world out there. The more you travel, the more you get to understand what Jesus, a lot of things that are looked at in a different way.
It's not what is. It's not what is. I love it so much. Yeah.
These borders were imposed on us. We are one Africa.
We really are.
And I also understand. I haven't engaged that much on that conversation, in that conversation, but I also hear a lot of people who complain about illegal foreigners in the country.
Yes.
I understand that, and I'm also not for that. But one thing that I understand is that we are one Africa.
We are one Africa.
Yeah. And when we bring up this topic or this conversation, we don't talk about other people of other races.
It's us, and that's my thing. It's us.
Malawians, Zimbabweans, Ugandans, Zambians, well, why are we not talking about all of these Europeans that are all over the country? And that is sad for me.
It's very sad,
and
because
it's double standards.
It is double standards, and it's a painful one, because when I was announced as a top 30 finalist, Twitter, we know Twitter, went crazy. It went crazy.
Serious.
Where the argument is always, they take our jobs, they're criminals, and they do 1, 2, 3, 4. I am a 27-year-old woman. I work. I contribute towards our economy. I pay tax. I'm not a criminal. However, people were literally calling for me to be taken off the competition.
Don't say.
They saw it my family, saying, we're so tired of this foreigner. She must get off the stage. She doesn't deserve to represent South Africa in that sense. So there was a lot of that where I'm like, even within the competition, and it affects you, I cried like a baby. I think I called one of my best friends. I was like, girl, it's painful, because imagine being told you don't belong. You don't belong, and also people are calling for you to get out, and that type of discrimination is so it's hurtful, and it's very disheartening, because you're thinking you are misunderstanding what I'm trying to say, and instead you're saying I'm an apologist for rape, for crime, and that's not what it's about. It's literally, let us unite and let's all figure out the solutions together. And you speak about illegal immigrants. Where does all of that start? There's corruption everywhere. How do people have access to the country? Who benefits from this? There's so much we can talk about when it comes to this topic, but one thing I do strive for is to restore human dignity, because really the innocent do get hurt and get caught in the crossfire of this, and it's painful. It's a painful experience.
Have you been to Uganda?
I'm going this December, actually.
Oh, you're going there for the first time?
I'm going there for the first time.
Congratulations.
For the
That's
first
dope.
time.
That's dope.
Yeah,
That's
for the
dope.
first time. But
So-
I have met my family, though.
So you're trying to tell me, Guti, having been born and grew up in South Africa, still people treat you that way?
Yeah, absolutely.
Guys,
Absolutely.
come on.
Yeah, it is. You're not South African enough, or not South African enough to represent, us on a global stage, such as Miss South Africa. And my question to that is, you need to first understand what Miss South Africa is and what it's about. And we cannot qualify someone for a job based on race, on gender, but rather what do you want to do with the platform? And too many times people are given jobs or spaces because of race and bias and gender roles and whatever. But in this case, is what is Miss South Africa's job? What is this person wanting to do? And that's all that should matter. But yeah, I'm not South African enough. Has always been such a big thing of why do you think you should represent South Africa? What is it about? You're not black enough, you know. So I think that's always the struggle with some people. I do not want to say most because I've experienced so much love as well and so much support from South Africans. So yeah,
Are you looking forward to meeting your family in Uganda?
I am. But I've met them a couple of times
Okay.
before. You know, I've even met my grandparents. My father is in his 60s. He still has mom and dad. So I've met my grandparents. But it's a struggle because my grandmother doesn't speak English. She speaks Luganda.
Yeah.
So it's hard to communicate. So I was like, you know,
Yeah.
and I'm very different from my family. I'm very wild with the big hair. It's a creative space in this head of mine. But they've always embraced me so much, and I think we're all learning from each other and trying to just make this very mixed masala. That was my can, by the way.
Yeah.
Mixed masala of a life work and a culture work, and it's beautiful. I mean, I love everything that my family has introduced me to. I love both cultures, which is why I say to people, please do not call me just Xhosa. I'm Xhosa and Ugandan. You know, I'm a mixture of both, and I really don't take well to people saying, no, you're just this or you're just that, or you have to take your father's side. No, I respect both cultures, both heritages. They make me who I am, and that's what I want to celebrate. And my message is literally expanded to not just about xenophobia or that struggle, but it's an identity one where people have DM'd me to say, I'm gay. I come from this type of religion, and I feel like I can't be very vocal about who I am because I'm afraid of being discriminated against. And that's what this is people being able to literally celebrate who they are and to be comfortable with who they are in order to step out into society without being bashed for it.
How does your future look like?
Oh man, I'm excited. I'm excited. And I think I'm more excited now because the vision, I absolutely love Miss SA. And of course, the dream is to become Miss South Africa. But what excites me about the future now is that it's bigger than just the platform of Miss South Africa. I've got plans, I've got things in place that I really want to do to carry on my message. And I really think it may seem impossible to most people, but everything has seemed impossible until it was done. Literally, as Nelson Mandela said, it always is impossible until it's done. You've done it now. You're at Shopper Checkers. You've got an energy drink. Anything is possible. So I think I'm really working towards building my brand, but also building this vision and legacy I want of really a united Africa, a kinder one, which restores human dignity, where we are collaborating with each other as Africans, where we're trading with each other as Africa. You know, we've got so many resources. Why are we not utilizing them? Is it always getting exported and being brought back to us at a higher value? Why is that the case? You know, where we can do it ourselves. So definitely got a lot of plans, business wise and in the creative space. Yeah.
Let me take you to that future, and I'd like for you to look at the camera. This one, eh?
Yeah.
I'd like for you to look at the camera.
Oh, man.
13 years from today, you'll be
13.
40. Yeah, 13, 1 3.
I'll be 40.
You'll be 40 years old.
Yeah.
What would you like to say to that 40-year-old woman and everything she's achieved?
Yeah.
We're going to send you this video 13 years from today. What would you like to say to yourself?
I would like to say I'm so proud of you and thank you for not giving up. It has been tough. It probably still is, but always just keep your vision in mind, keep your goal in mind, and keep on working hard. This is not just for you. It is not just for your family, but it is for our communities, for South Africa. It is for Africa. It is always bigger than just us. And this is a legacy we want to live for our future generations. So keep going.
Shout outs to an amazing young 19-year-old artist who did this piece. And that's why I got it here. That's my daughter. This is a t-shirt of a Zimbabwean team called the Highlanders.
The Highlanders.
Yeah, I call it the Buccaneer of Zimbabwe.
Oh, yeah?
So as I see my daughter here, I see a role model in you. What would you like to say to other younger girls out there who are still coming in your footsteps as far as a positive message of encouragement is concerned on screen? Speak to them.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing I'd like to say to you is there is no box. There is no box. I think when you grow up, we try to be boxed in, to be told who to be, how to act, and what we need to do with our lives. But there's no one who knows you better than you. There's no one who knows your capabilities better than you, your aspirations, your dreams, your ambitions, your passions. So tap into that. Don't be afraid to show up as yourself. There is no wrong answer when you show up as yourself, and proudly stand in that.
You're incredible. You're amazing.
Thank you so
I
much.
wish you all of the best,
Thank
Mtanseka. Uziphathe kahle, and may you just keep growing and achieve all of your dreams and continue to become a shining light to other younger girls out there, as I've just mentioned. when you're a
The
father
beautiful
to
girls. Yeah.
girls,
Yeah.
you see women
Yeah.
differently because you just see role models of your children. So I'm very proud of you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate being here. Thank you for the space to speak.
Ladies and gentlemen, or young people out there, people are doing great things with their lives. The question is, what are you doing with your life? I'll see you guys on the next video.